Hello, everybody. Todd Zarwell here, the developer of EyeDock.com, and I wanted to show you a big revision I've made to the EyeDock's Oblique Cross Cylinders calculator. I've made several revisions of this over the last couple decades, but this is probably the biggest one. Um, the current one works really well, except there's a few limitations to it. One, you can only do one eye at a time, which when you have to do a refraction, type results in your EMR, go to iDoc, do a calculation for one eye, go back, type the results in your EMR, go back to iDoc, do another calculation. It's a hassle, and doing an overrefraction itself is a hassle. So when you add all these obstacles, I think it makes us much less likely to do these things. So as always, I'm trying to find ways to make us just more efficient in the exam lanes. New version lets you do both eyes, and it saves a lot of back and forth. The other big difference is I've tried to make it a lot easier to get the information into the calculator, and again, just trying to cut down on all the steps that are necessary. So you can add contact lenses, and you can add both eyes together, and you can type in a contact lens power in here, like an animal, but there are easier ways to do it now. But if you have to manually type it, you can. The other way to do it is to go to your EMR, and if you have a way to kind of cut and paste from your EMR, you can do that. So I'm going to just try to grab my contact lens powers, and I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to iDoc, and I'm going to hit this paste button, and I'm going to try pasting this in here. And right away, before I even parse it, I see that there's some extra numbers in here that I think might confuse it. So I'm just going to get rid of this base curve and diameter, and I'll hit parse, and it correctly found the prescription in that text. I'm just going to say yes, and I'm going to use that. And let's do the same thing with the overrefraction. You can, again, just type it in if you want to, or I'm going to go to my EMR. Here's the overrefraction. I'm going to try to grab that, copy, and go back to iDoc. Let's paste. And I think I'm just going to let it ride and see what happens. There's some numbers in here like 2020 slash. That's just some junk that came over. But let's see what happens if we just try to parse that. It got my overrefraction. So I'll say, yes, that's it. And we'll use that. So now we got all the data in here without a lot of manual typing and flipping back and forth between my EMR and this calculator. So let's just say we have some rotation. I can either click the lens, I can fine tune it with these arrows. Um, let's not do that much rotation though. And let's do the same thing here. So we have our result right here. And real quick and easy. You could also say, what brand this is. So I'm going to say this is a Biofinity toric. And let's just say the left eye is the same as the right, which it normally would be if possible. And so we can look at the closest powers available, and it will do things like if it has to reduce the sill, it will keep the spherical equivalent and things like that. So find a logical lens for you. And if you have a question like, this recommended a -3, but it's only suggesting a 2.25 for this bioaffinity toric. Well, if I want to know why that might be, which I think we know why, but you can see what powers are available for this lens and say, oh yeah, that only goes up to a 2.25. And of course, we probably knew that, but that can show you why the limitations exist. Or if you're doing like a 1-day lens and the calculator is suggesting an axis of 50 and it's only letting you choose 20, well, maybe it only comes in an axis of 20 and not 50. So it kind of shows you what those limitations are. So again, I trying to make this work as efficiently as possible. I think some people do oblique cross-cylinder calculations more than others. It is a pain and tedious and something that you may not have time to do in the exam, but sometimes it's a really good way to troubleshoot. and I just hope this makes it easier. Oh, and one more thing. This also works on phones. So if we're looking at a phone, this is an iPad view actually. So iPad view, it'll work on an iPad, it'll work on a phone. So it just another big change here is I've just tried to make it orient and fit really well on a screen. And because of this, if you use a web-based EMR, it will also work in my Chrome extension. So let's just kind of hop over to that. Tools. Oblique cross cylinders. Okay, so you can have this side by side. So then you won't even have to switch between browser tabs. You can just look at your contact lens powers, look at your over refraction, look at your rotation, and plug it into the calculator, and then type in the results of your next trial lens into your EMR. So again, trying to make you more efficient in the exam room using technology, and I hope you find it useful.